with a prepared statement. I'm going to alter it and speak a little bit off the cuff because Cynthia has spoken about the history of the mandate much more eloquently than I could. And I thank, on behalf of the community and of healthcare staff, I thank the board and the administrators and the Department of Health for being so vigilant in making sure that the full range of reproductive health care was included in all of the plans. For the record, I am a proud and loving mother and grandmother. I have also been a nurse in obstetrics and family planning and home care. And I have seen the disastrous effects of crisis pregnancies on the lives of many women and their families. As a pediatric home care nurse, I've also seen the consequences for children who are in homes where they are not welcome. This has nothing to do with politics. Women's lives are not politics, and they are not absurd. I have always used as my watchword Margaret Sanger's desire that every child born should be a wanted child. It appears that Benedictine will be chosen as a hospital to remain open and that Foxhall and Kingston Hospital will be abandoned. We are assured that Benedictine will be renamed and converted into a non-sectarian hospital. A physician has been identified who is willing to provide abortion services at this new hospital. However, it has been the experience of Merger Watch that when a Catholic hospital becomes non-sectarian, there is often a condition placed that no abortions will ever be performed in that facility. And we see that there will be a lot of pressure to make such a condition in this case. The commitment to provide the full range of reproductive services must continue to be honored, not sidelined or neglected, as happened at Foxhall when the abortion provider retired and was not replaced. We ask for a clear and unequivocal commitment to providing a full range, and by that I do mean a full range of reproductive health care. The community deserves this diverse community, racially, religiously, economically diverse community deserves to have health care that is determined by law, even-handedly, not by religion. This is not a theocracy. I would now ask you to explain how you will achieve, including the full range of reproductive services, including maternity, at the site of the former Benedictine Hospital. Thank you.
I want to just take a point that Susan raised, and that is that the term she used, that Foxhall and Kingston are going to be abandoned. Is that the plan, to just abandon the facilities, or is it?
I think we've made that pretty clear, and I think we've talked about it in every forum that we've had. Nobody should forget that the boards of the facilities in this community are all members of the community. We all live here, and none of us want to see abandoned property anywhere in our community, and most particularly not on Broadway in Kingston. There is no desire to abandon anything. As David indicated, we have had interest in the property, and we will continue to pursue those interests. The economic viability of the community is important to the hospital as much as it is to every single person in this room.
The other question that she closed with was explain how the Health Alliance is going to assure a full range of reproductive services, and I think it was couched in terms of, in view of the, what's happened at Foxhall. The promise was made that those services would continue. Those services didn't continue. They don't continue. So what steps will be taken to assure that it will occur under the new circumstance, particularly in view of the fact that you're talking about moving to what is currently a Catholic campus?
I think we have to be clear about what provision of services means from the standpoint of a hospital and from how those services are provided. The hospital has to be open and available for use for providers of those services. There is nothing that mandates, and in fact it could sometimes be impossible, that we hire the physicians that perform those services. That is not what's been mandated by Department of Health. That's not what's ever been discussed. We have never hired individual physicians to perform any of those reproductive services. We have the responsibility to make sure that our facilities are available to those providers. There is a physician who's been identified as someone who might be willing to provide services of termination in the community. But that physician it has requested to be hired by Foxhall. And Foxhall was never established to be an employer of physicians. It was established as an ambulatory surgical center where physicians could practice. So there's a misunderstanding about what that means and what we are responsible for doing. We're not making, and we have never made a commitment. We never made a commitment with the Foxhall, and we're not making a commitment with the surviving entity that we promise to hire physicians to provide the services. We have committed to the Department of Health that we would provide a location for those services to be provided. And I'm sorry if you feel that that's splitting hairs, but it's a significant decision on the part of a hospital or an ambulatory surgical center to actually hire a physician, incur all of the expenses, pay their malpractice insurance and everything else in order to provide those services. And that is not something that the DOH is asking us to do or requiring us to do. And it's certainly not something that we are economically in a position to do currently.
So I want to repeat the question that Susan asked, and that is, in view of everything you just said, what is the Health Alliance going to do to assure the full range of reproductive health services will be provided in this community? You told us a lot of, from what I got, you told us a lot of how you're not going to assure it.
Well, we're not going to commit that we're going to hire a physician. We hire very few physicians in Health Alliance. We just don't do it. We don't have the economic wherewithal
Okay, so that's
to
not
do
the way
it.
you're going to do it.
So we're not going to do
what
it, but
will you do?
our facility will be open for, if there is a physician who is credentialed at our facilities and wants to perform terminations, they will be allowed to do so.
Okay, so, and that's the extent of what you're going to do.
We can't do more than that.
Okay. The next speaker is Deacon Dick Frohmiller.
Just to save some time, I think I'll just speak from here.